the stakeholders, and you can get into programs that'll help you and train you on how to build it. But that first step is you have to design a business model that is desirable.
When I initially moved back to Pensacola, I had a meeting with Lloyd. Lloyd invited me for breakfast, and I was telling him, man, I still have an idea for the entertainment industry. This is what I wanted to do. He was like, all right, I got Startup on the Blocks. So I need you to start coming to Startup on the Blocks and get a little more information on how to work through the tech ecosystem, and take your idea and we'll get you where you need to go. My company is called The Know, is an app that is streamlining business for the entertainment industry. Yeah, so if you're a musician, what you would do is pretty much jump on the platform, you'll create a profile, but the way we created the profile is pretty much a cleaner way. So now if they want more information about you, you'll connect your social media platforms, your streaming platforms, and that way they can go directly to it. What we also have included is your calendar. So pretty much you can set your days, you can set your price for your days and automate your booking. So initially talking to Lloyd, my idea was all here, it was there, it was over here, it was over there. It was like, all right, Quinn, I get it. You got a lot that you want to do, but we need you to bring it in just a little bit and then work on your pitch, your story, and how you're going to bring it full circle to get people to understand what you're trying to create.
Most of the programs here wasn't inclusive, and so we said we'll focus on helping founders of color. We also start at the beginning of the thing, at the idea stage, whereas a lot of the programs you see here locally, they start after you're up, and that's not very efficient unless if you don't have a lot of money, you can't recover from your mistakes. And the lean startup system, it actually helps you make mistakes faster before you spend a lot of money. You don't actually start building anything until you got customer buy-in.
There was a need for small businesses to bring brand awareness to their business. I see there's a lot of makers and bakers that they're making all of these goodies and these products, but they can't market it, they can't sell it at the same time, and there needs to be kind of like that middleman, that middle person to help bring economic growth to some of the small businesses in Pensacola. So Taste of Pensacola, I came up with that idea during the pandemic when I saw things at that time that Amazon couldn't fulfill. They didn't even have those products, but the local people in the community, they did. And so there was a ton of people coming out saying, hey, I make masks. I'm like, wow, this is amazing, all the local people here that are just as talented that can actually make those products. And so I wanted to kind of showcase who they were. So with Taste of Pensacola, our income streams, we have several of them. We have the corporate America, we do corporate gifting, just regular consumers, different Pensacola natives that don't live here that want to purchase our boxes, like a taste of weddings, distribution. So we also do bulk sales. So for a private airline, if they want some local snacks and goodies on their passenger flights, they will come to Taste of Pensacola and we will source their vendors here locally, and we'll give a small business owner an opportunity to have reoccurring monthly sales. I've always had a really big vision for Taste of Pensacola. I knew that it could go beyond just local. I know that maybe other communities could possibly use the same platform that I'm trying to build. And I always have these big visions, but I never know how to even get there. Where do I start? I know it's more than, there's a lot of technical things behind it. I know there's a lot of research, but that connection, I never had it until, thankfully, I met and was introduced to Startups on the Blocks and was able to just learn more about how to grow it in terms of data. Things I just never thought about, framework, words like traction. There's a lot of things that I just did not know about, and language that I need to know in order to get funding for my business. There's just a lot that I didn't know.
I would go to the stores and look online. They didn't have a wide variety of natural hair products about 8 years ago. And the ones that they did have, the ingredients, it would say that they were all natural. And when I would research the ingredients, a lot of the ingredients were not natural. I make everything, my shampoo, conditioner, I have an oil that I make, and I have 2 different separate butters. Like I had some people who were completely bald and grew their hair. It's about giving women their confidence back in their hair. I have this salon and then I have a second salon, and I have my products in about 5 beauty supply stores. So I need a manufacturer to keep up with the demand at this point. Startup on the Blocks has helped my business grow, send me to different people. I'm able to do different pitch competitions to apply for grants in the community for small businesses. Lloyd's a really good person to connect with. He has a lot of resources here in the community that can help small businesses grow. If you have a product out there and you're trying to go big time, he's the person that you would want to meet with.
So it's really important to have some type of support because 9 times out of 10, most founders start out on their own. And to have somebody that has an idea of how the ecosystem works and is able to tap into other resources and bring back to the community, and that pretty much has encountered some of the roadblocks or going through the same roadblocks that we're currently going through and understands where you're at, your culture and how you respond to things, is a big help because you don't really have too many people that have access to what we have access to here in the community. And a lot of people believe that you have to leave and go to bigger cities to do the things that we're doing here. But I mean, it's one thing to have exposure, but you have to actually know it's here in the community in order to take advantage of the resources. So I get approached and I talk to friends all the time that wants to either start an idea or hear that I'm actually doing the app and wants to know more information about how are you doing it or what's the process, what's the path. I'm like, man, we have somebody here, Startup on the Blocks, Lloyd Richard. And Lloyd is here, he's a great resource to the community and to founders that's trying to learn the ecosystem. So join Startup on the Blocks.
Hello, how's everyone? Welcome to Startup on the Blocks. We got an exciting show planned for you tonight. TK and Ty is going to come on here in a second. They're going to turn their cameras on and join the stage here with me. But first, I want to give like a shout out to our sponsors. How you doing, Ty?
Hey, doing well. How are you?
Great. I hear a little background noise there, but hey, TK, how are you?
Hello.
Good. Yeah, glad to have you all on here tonight. Should be an exciting conversation. I guess, especially if folks like whiskey.
Get the party started.
Yeah. I feel a little guilty myself, but let me share my screen here, and then we'll let y'all introduce yourself here in a second. Yes. All right. So I'm so excited and always happy to talk about our sponsors. And our sponsors help us get connected with founders to kind of, really just help us deliver the training and stuff we do for founders. And they help us with just so many things. So it's definitely exciting. So I always tell people about Blacks in Technology because they have a lot of opportunities as well. And we had the opportunity last year to work with a couple hundred of their members, and we always recommend folks to kind of join that. And Florida Power and Light, they're one of our biggest sponsors, so we appreciate their support and everything. But so I could be forever here naming them all, but I wanted to point out some of the ones that are actually resources that are that you can use or whatever. So if you see this light bulb here, that little green looking thing there, that's the Startup Science, and that's a program. They're one of our partners, and I was telling you all about that a little earlier, where you can get access to knowledge that was created by a gentleman that had 12 exits. So, and everything he learned in there was there. And we actually just got a new partner this year, Make Startups. And that's over here. On here, they have a entrepreneur training platform called Co-Founder OS, and that one actually measures your entrepreneurship skills. So that's pretty interesting. So we're looking forward to rolling that out. I guess sometime this fall and really roll it out in 2025. But yeah. We get a lot of support, and I just want to make sure you're all aware of that. Then I don't know, TK, Ty, if y'all familiar with this thing called Pitch Bomb. And so it's an AI agent that asks you a bunch of questions. You can do it through Facebook Messenger, Telegram, or WhatsApp, and it actually helps you. it actually develops a pitch deck. It does a lot of things, So, but yeah, it's so we partner with them. We get their products for half price, and so most you have to spend is like 40 or $50, and the AI generates a bunch of documentation for you, and also connects you with some accelerator programs. And plus, they also have what a perks type store where they have a lot of free stuff that you get for like 6 months or and stuff like that. So that's really really good. Okay, I wanted to. We have a class starting next week, and we want to make that available to uh, anyone who wants to actually participate in it. And so in this particular program, you get to stress test your business model, but you also get to design it where it can actually scale at the 10x rate. So that's pretty exciting. So we use the Lean Stack platform for that. And quickly here, you start off with your big idea, and then you break it up into all your different customer segments, and you do that the first week. And then the second week, you do elevator pitches, wide elevator pitches for each customer segment. And then the ones that it doesn't go over good with, you kind of scratch that customer segment off. And then the next week, you actually do the stress test for viability and the feasibility test. And so if you're familiar with the lean canvas, these red things like this one right here is the customer segment. This one is the unique value proposition, and this one is the problem. So have you ever did an elevator pitch where you did talk about red hazel?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting because most elevator pitches I hear people talk about their solution. But the elevator pitch that we teach you is you talk about the value you actually bring to your customer. Yeah, so that's a good deal there. And so that's the two there is the why now elevator pitch. And then the two for this viability test is you need your pricing model and your metrics. And so there's a tool in there that actually prints out a customer factory, a traction roadmap, and a spreadsheet for 3 years, and it tells you what you need to do each month to actually reach your goal. So you set a goal that you want to get to in 3 years of recurring revenue wise, and so it works backwards to kind of let you know what you need to do. And literally, you can use that too. In 5 minutes, you could stress test your thing for viability, and you get that in the 30-day class. And then the feasibility test, it involves a cost, but all you're doing is generating a rollout plan. And if it costs too much for you to do a rollout, you eliminate that customer segment as well. So you do all that in 30 days, and this pink part and this solution customer fit is it's in the 90-day program that follows the 30-day program. So register for this class if you're interested, and it goes through pretty quick. So we'll stop right here for a second and get you all to introduce yourself.
Wow. That is amazing. First and foremost, love that.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna sign up for sure.
Okay, we're glad to have you. And yeah, it's the neat thing about that too is I've designed a prompt that actually it gives you an example of all the assignments you need to do just based on you put in your business idea and your industry. So it should be pretty good to actually go there. So why don't you take a second to kind of introduce yourself?
Yeah. So hello, everyone. I am TK Burtin Johnson. I am the founder of Red Hazel Whiskey. I'm based in Atlanta. Boop, boop, Atlanta.
Yes.
So originally from Florida. I was raised in Tallahassee. I went to school at the University of Central Florida, hospitality management. And I came up with the idea of Red Hazel in 2018. Yeah, but without going deep into the brand, that
Yeah,
is
that's a
me.
nice
That is
introduction.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what does the hospitality uh, profession has to do with the red hazel?
Yeah. So in school, hospitality management really focused on hotel management and bar management, essentially. Of
Okay.
course, being in Orlando, really hotel management. So I worked for Wyndham Corporate for a little bit. But not knowing that another piece of hospitality is really the food, the beverage, the staff, the bars, the lounges, the art museums, that's all hospitality. So we were taught one specific piece of the industry, and I really just kind of found another piece of the industry that tied into everything that I was doing at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. We'll dig a little deeper into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love
Ties.
to back.
Yeah. Yeah. Why don't you
Yeah,
introduce yourself
I
there?
had some technical difficulties. Yeah, Ty Burton, COO of Red Hazel. Um, yeah, man, a little bit about my background. For a while, was just trying to find my way. So I've been in a bunch of different industries, from medical devices to education. Currently in tech for the last 5 years, working in cybersecurity. So Sis asked me to come along as her right hand, her COO, doing all the things she does not want to touch. So I'm doing a lot of the back end accounting and operations and logistics. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
That's fantastic. Brother, sister team. Look
Yeah.
who's up late at night.
Oh,
Hey, what's up, cousin?
cousin. I
Yes,
owe you a WhatsApp message. I know.
Yes,
yes,
awesome.
yeah, yes. So, uh, so what did you study in college, Ty?
Uh, so I got my degree in business management,
Okay.
operational organizational leadership is my
Wow.
minor. But a fun fact is I started out with accounting as my major,
Okay. Okay.
and then quickly found out that I was not a fan of accounting.
Oh,
So and then look what I'm doing now. So it's just funny how that comes full circle.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So something. Yeah, you definitely. You have a knack for something, so sometimes you just have to apply yourself and do it, because it might lead you to something else you desire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, fantastic. So it sounds like your education and background sort of really actually helping you all out, because it sounds like there's definitely a connection between what you learn and what you're actually doing now.
Very much so.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's that's great. So so how has this journey been? Let's just get down. How did it start? And tell me a little bit about it.
It's been a journey.
Yeah.
The wine and spirits industry is very difficult to navigate. So with my background in hospitality management, working in Orlando in the nightclubs, doing VIP management, bottle sales, I kind of learned the distribution aspect of it
Okay.
from the on-premise side. So that
Mhm.
really got me into it. And then I worked for some other brands as their brand specialist. So I really started to learn what accounts did to bring brands in. And that really got me into the industry. When I moved to Atlanta, I realized I'm not the only woman that loves whiskey. And I had a friend do some market research because she just loves going down the rabbit hole on anything that has to do with wine and spirits. And we found that there was opportunity in the market. And we just kind of went from there. The journey has been very interesting from the ideation stage in 2018. I came up with the idea. Funny story, called
Okay.
Ty one morning at, I think it was maybe 8 or 9 my time. He's on Central like y'all, so
Way
I'm on
too early.
Eastern. It was too early. So he told me to go back to sleep after I told him I was going to start a whiskey brand. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll call you later. Called him back later and told him, hey, I'm going to start a whiskey brand. And this is what it's going to look like. This is what we're going to do. And he asked, how do I help? Where do you need me? And initially he was supposed to be a silent partner, but our marketing brains, with my friend that did our research, our marketing brains came together and was like, wait, this story with my brother and I that didn't necessarily grow up full time together, starting a product and being able to do something that most siblings can't do. And that's meet in the middle on something, especially a beverage. So that was pretty fun. When we first launched in 2020, it was by chance because of COVID, because we were still doing our research. This is not an industry that you do 6 months of research and you say, oh yeah, we got it. No, it takes a little bit more time than that. So we both got furloughed from our jobs in 2020. And I was just like, bro, whatever we have, we go with it. And we'll rebrand like the big brands do it. We'll rebrand later. We'll do it. So we went through the final formulation phase in 2020, which was fun but challenging, doing it from a distance with Ty. But we had a lot of great FaceTimes.
A lot of good times.
Yeah, a lot of great midnight FaceTimes too, by the way. Sorry, Julie. But in 2020, once we finalized the formula and did our focus groups, we, had people from different walks of life and palates try the brand: tequila drinkers, whiskey drinkers, non-drinkers, people that hadn't drank in maybe a month or so, vodka drinkers. We had everyone try it so we can make sure it appealed to each palate like we wanted it to. And then in October 2020, we launched strictly online because, of course, during COVID, no one was picking up a new product of any sort. So we launched online, shipping to, I think, like 40 states. And December of that year, we got our first distributor in Georgia. And that was the true start.
So that getting that formulation in less than a year, well, we probably want to break down that a little bit, but I remember something in 2019. I was over in Poland, and I think I can't remember what the conversation was. You had a question or something. I don't even remember what it was, but I remember you all getting ready to get started, and it's been really nice to follow you all's journey. Lloyd Jr., why don't you say hello?
Hello.
Yeah, how's it going?
Good.
Kind of a reunion, long time in the making.
Oh, too long.
So it's just amazing. I will say I'm one of those vodka drinkers, and I ordered my first box of Red Hazel in October, way back when, and gave it out and had it. There's a lot of funny stories that are connected with it too. Because the day we tried it, I actually tried it with the making like a spiced apple cider, so like that. That's how I tried it. And the next day I got COVID. So like, really, that was the last thing I tasted. In
It wasn't the Red Hazel. It wasn't the Red Hazel.
So like I was like, oh, let my taste buds come back so I can enjoy this again.
Oh man,
wow. That's my first time hearing that story.
Yeah. So I've never told anybody that. And since then, everyone knows Goose. Watch regularly. I'm an opera singer, so I travel and sing all over the place. And for now, what I do when I stay with hosts or people who like open their home to me, I will give them a bottle of Red Hazel. Usually, that's will be my gift of choice. And just try to spread the word because you all are doing such amazing stuff. So. And I see Natalie's in the comments, so she's out in Sierra Leone, Africa. So she's up real late.
real late.
Real late.
Love you.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's that's great. Yeah, so this we were going to talk a little bit. What I heard you say so far, it sounds like there was a lot of planning going on before you launched, but it still sounds like that you actually launched pretty fast.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So there was a lot of planning that went into it. I did a lot of driving back and forth to Florida, research for co-packers and distillers, the type of product we really wanted to have, because what we didn't want was a white label. And what a white label is you have distillers that produce a mass amount of certain juices, and the
Hmm.
juice is the beverage. And you just create a label, you smack it on it, and you say that's your brand.
Yes.
That is not what I wanted. We wanted something that was ours, we
Hmm.
own, we
Yeah.
know the ins and outs of it from beginning to the end.
Hmm.
And in order for us to get that, we had to find the right distilling partner, because we don't own as a distillery.
Yep.
Right.
That's not in the books. That is millions of dollars that we're not ready for.
Yes.
But finding that right partner was really important. So there was a lot of planning that went into it. We did 6 rounds of samples
Yep.
before we found the one formula that we were like, this is it.
Okay.
And even with that, we rebranded and switched up the formula a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about that later.
Hmm.
But we ended up launching pretty quickly because COVID kind of moved us forward. But I think COVID gave us that fire that we needed. I already have that fire under me, and sometimes Ty tries to be like, sis, we can go. Can we go? We can go. And I'll be like, let's go.
Yeah.
So COVID kind of gave us that, all right, it's time. Do what you do. The biggest thing in the wine and spirits industry, and the most important, is liquid to lips. So it's very important for us to get our product out there, get people familiar with the taste, get people familiar with the name, and build that customer base for us.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
the tech people out there, where my brain came in is we took the MVP model, right? The minimum viable product. Hey, the label's not perfect, bottle's not perfect, juice is not perfect, but we have our baseline. We can work with that, and that's the approach we took.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like you all either you were using a playbook or you created a playbook. So kind of because it to kind of move that fast, you were somebody telling you what you needed to do, or were you figuring it out on your own, or what?
A lot of conversation between the two of us. We talked to our dad, who's a business owner who has been for 38 years now, 39 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a hardworking
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, so we definitely got some guidance from him. But there's a lot of conversation on, all right, how do we foresee this going? What are some roadblocks we could run into? What are some hurdles we might see? And then, but for the most part, it came down to, we ain't got nothing to lose. Like, we're both furloughed. We didn't already put our money into it. Why not?
Let's do it.
Yeah. So it sounds like you all had some cash to get started, or but yeah. So tell us a little bit about that.
We pull pennies out of all different places, Uncle Lloyd.
We don't even know where they came from sometimes, because I was being furloughed. It was like, well, okay, we still got bills. We still got to be adults. We still have families. We can't pour everything into it. But I already had made up in my mind pre-marriage, let's say that, pre-marriage,
Yeah.
that my previous 401k, a portion of that was going to be to invest in whatever business I
Gotcha.
started. So yeah, we bootstrap for the most part.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's also where my expertise comes in, as far as money management. Making sure, all right, sis, we can't do this. We can do this. Let's stretch this out a little further. That kind of thing. That's where That's where I come into play.
He makes sure I don't spend all of it.
Yes, that's fantastic. So, but I think that's it sounds like you typically, your 401k. I've heard of people, taking some money out to buy a house, whatever. But I haven't actually paid attention to see if people take money out to start a business. So that's an interesting thought. How did you actually feel about that, TK?
So
I tried to talk her out of it.
he tried to talk me out of it, he did, but I'm a risk taker.
Yeah.
I am a risk taker, and I know there's ways I can get the money back.
Yes.
Right? I work hard, but I'm a risk taker.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't invest, my personal thoughts is, if you don't invest in yourself or in your business, how do you speak to someone or convince someone else to invest in you?
Mm-hmm.
We hear all the time about some of the big millionaires and billionaires that didn't have trust funds that risk it all. Now they have more to risk because they had higher paying jobs, but the risk is what I make it. And that was my risk.
Mm-hmm. So was there a lot of resources out there and information out there when you all were researching, the whole process that you needed to go through? Was there a book you read that's step by step, or was it just pretty much based on your research?
It's based on research. And
Okay.
there wasn't a whole lot of research out there. And I know it's 5 years or so now. But there's more research out there now than it was back then, because we have more journalists out there finding smaller craft brands and getting the transparent conversations to happen. In order for the brands behind us to be able to do this, we have to be transparent about the experiences we go through and how we got started. Of course, nothing proprietary, but we got to do it. I've also made a strong point our first year to get mentors in the industry.
I was just gonna make sure you said that.
I knocked on a few doors, kissed a few babies, kicked down a few walls, and got a few amazing mentors in the industry within our first 6 months of launching. Okay. And that was also due to some of the partners we had made with our distiller, with our distributor at the time, and also some local folks here in Atlanta.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So we have some really good partnerships starting out. Like it's not very often that happens, where they're willing to give you some of the knowledge that they've gained over the years.
Wow, fantastic. So your was it the formulation company, or does the formulation and the bottle company, is it still the manufacturer, that's the same companies, or it's two different companies?
So we've switched companies, but our bottle, our formula is created, labeled, and bottled at the same distillery now, which is in North Carolina.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But I guess what I was getting at, so it sounds like you all, by making that connection with the original one, they referred you to some mentors. Is that what I'm hearing you saying, or how did you find the mentors?
Yeah, I just meet people.
Yeah,
I meet people.
Natural networker.
I talk to people. I ask questions, and we build relationships. And this industry is about relationships. I mean, life is about relationships, but I build relationships with those that not only benefit us, but we have a mutual beneficial relationship. Yeah.
Gotcha. So it sounds like you got out there and hustle, and knock some doors down, and that's what you have to do sometimes.
Yeah. I do it well, apparently.
We got our first distributor because she was persistent. Legitimately, she sent out three or four emails, and then you went up there twice and just knocked on the door and was like, somebody's gonna talk to me. And I think it was that last time that Eric talked to you, and
they finally got back to us.
Yeah,
they got back to us via email. Actually, they got back to us via email. I met with him, and we sat and spoke for about an hour. Gave him our pitch. We tasted. He loved the brand. I left while I was leaving, and he called me. He was like, "TK, oh, you left this at the office. Can you come back and get it?" I was like, "Well, I thought I grabbed everything. What did I leave? All right, let me go back." So I went back. He met at the door. I think I was on the phone with Ty already, and he said, "Well, you really didn't leave anything. I wanted to give you this and say, how would you feel about telling your brother you also got a distributor in Georgia?" I was like, "Oh,
pretty sure I screamed on the phone.
That's fantastic. Let's do it." Yeah. And they've been our distributor since. It's been a great partnership.
Fantastic. That's really, really great. So the audience, if you have any questions, feel free to chime in, because I know, this particular industry, I haven't ever interviewed anybody in this industry. I've heard about some people in the industry, but yeah, so it's it's kind of unique. But I think the what you all have said so far, it sounds like it's a good example for founders to actually follow, to kind of move forward. Because I hear some folks say, "Well, I sent an email, but they never got back to me," or whatever. But it sounds like you all are persistent and really, really working it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to tell us no a couple times before we just walk away.
Yeah. I mean, a no to me is a delayed yes.
Okay.
I come from a modeling background too. So as a Black woman that's a little hippie, a little taller, a little thicker, I heard no a lot. No doesn't hurt my feelings. Well, some people no hurts my feelings, but I still go back to them. But we got to be persistent, especially in no matter what industry. When we send those emails or make those phone calls, it should be a 3-touch process. I have a 3-touch process. I do phone calls, emails, and I go up and I knock on the door.
Okay.
After those 3 touches, I'm like, okay, well, I'll wrap around back to that in 6 months. But most of the time they come back to us before I even get back to them.
3 touches. I never heard that formula before.
Yeah. 3 touch. Because I learned as I got older, because I'm just a little more patient than I used to be. But life is lifing. Life is lifing for everyone. So if I email you the first time, you may not have your out of office on, and Joe Schmo cousin may be going through some drama that you need to help them with.
Yeah.
If I call you and leave a voicemail, I don't know. Maybe you broke your phone or dropped it off a bridge or something. I don't know. If I come to your office, I know your office hours because I've already researched it.
Yeah.
And I'll be patient and sit there because I got all day.
Okay, fantastic. So that sounds like a nice little playbook there. Yes, looks like we got a question here. Yeah, this is an interesting question. Yeah, so y'all had any thoughts on that? It's kind of like a trick question too.
Yeah, so yeah, we've talked about this. We've talked about this one on and off for probably the last year or so. And as of right now, we want this to be a legacy brand for the family. So there's no plan as of right now to exit. It's to continue to build, continue to grow it. I mean, we haven't said this specifically, but Uncle Nearest is something that we look up to. That brand is something we look to kind of strive to build that story as a family-owned brand. Stick with that.
Gotcha. Yeah. So the for founders and seeking investment or it's like one exit strategy could be an IPO or something. That it's not really an exit, but it's just but it's a way that the investors can get their money, get their returns, and that's the trick part of the questions. And I do want to point out before we because now he just has a comment, but I do want to point out that as a startup founder, if you are seeking investment, that you do have to have a plan, and even if it's an IPO or something, because the investor definitely want to get some return on their investment. But the point I wanted to make was in the startup science thing I was telling you all about, in the idea stage, the visioning stage, that's the first thing you do. You pick the company that's going to buy you out. So isn't that kind of cute? You're thinking about you building something to kind of do. Are you building something to go public with? Yeah, and so that's why I said it's a kind of like a trick question.
Yeah, still in conversation. Yeah, still a conversation that we have, because that's one lesson that we've learned from other business owners that we know is creating an exit plan.
Yeah,
we've run into a lot that are like, I just don't know where to go right now because I want to exit, but I don't have a plan. I'm like, wait, okay, good lesson to learn.
Yes, I ask my sister probably every 6 months, like, all right, is there a number? Like, is there a number?
There is.
So she hasn't given me that number yet, but there is a number. No,
I just came up with it this week.
That's news.
We haven't had our call yet.
Okay.
Look, we haven't had our call yet.
Breaking news. Got it.
Breaking news. Dun, dun, dun.
As a customer of Red Hazel and a supporter, I have a question about marketing and how you all use social media and stuff like that, because I know that I kind of just live on social media, and I love to see when you're sharing things and stuff like that. I want to just kind of know a little bit about your journey, and the caveat to that is also I know you rebranded recently, and I wanted to talk about what that journey was like.
Whew. How long we got? How much time? But with the marketing, social media is supplemental for us. Marketing for our brand is really liquid to lips and getting in the market and really meeting people and getting them to try the brand. Because what we learn about consumers is, especially when it comes to flavored whiskey and our flavor profile, they're hesitant to try it until they try it. So we have to get out there and have them try it. So ideally right now, our marketing strategy is on-premise and off-premise tastings and events, sponsorships, which annually we reach about 10,000 people annually just from those events. And then social media is supplemental for our online. So we showcase what events we're doing, what tastings and samplings we're doing, what people are saying about our brand. And it helps us with online sales and helps push our brand even further, because we know social media, as LJ said, we have a lot of people that live on social media. Like, they're on it all day, every day. We both still work full time. So I'm like, I try to be on there, but I schedule a lot of stuff. But it really helps with building our brand, though, because we do live in a society where social media kind of runs things. That's where people get their news now. So right now we are in a transition to run certain campaigns on social media, so we can keep it going, but still operate our tastings, samplings, and events. Now, the new branding.
Branding, that was fun. And she loved, I'm gonna let you go, but she loved every bit of that. We went through I mean, between paper, the foils, the different different seal types. I mean, she loved every bit of that. I was like, we just need to get something out there, but we took our time with it and it was worth it. All right, go ahead, sis.
Oh, you're good. Talk your talk. Talk your talk.
Yeah, it was worth it. That bottle is, I mean, for lack of better words, it is a sexy bottle.
It is beautiful. I will say thank you. That I was gonna say, like, thank you, show it off, because I feel like it elevated the bottle and the brand immediately, and so I just want to give it applause for that. Now, what does that kind of look like for like a business owner? Like, there are a lot of things I followed a while back. I used to follow the Try Guys on YouTube, and one of the Try Guys started his own tea company and decided to show the step of the branding process, finding distributors and everything like that. And so I'm curious, as like, you already had the bottle out there, you already had distributed. I was literally walking into ABC Liquors and all these other places in random places in the US and getting your bottles. And so what was that like to be like, oh no, we're ready to switch to something else, and getting on board with that? Can you kind of talk through some of the easy things, some of the things we wouldn't have realized about the rebranding process?
Yeah. So our rebranding has always been an idea from the beginning, because the label wasn't the original vision of the bottle. And what was it, 5 months? Maybe not even 5 months. That March after we launched.
Yeah. Thank you.
The March after we launched, we unexpectedly had to change our bottle glass because of the glass shortage. So our rebranding started then, unbeknownst to us. Like, we were like, oh snap, well, we might as well start it now. So once we changed our glass, we started getting feedback from our customers like, oh, we should change it back. Because initially we were just going to do that as a limited release. When our glass got back, we were going to change our glass back. Blah, blah, blah. But our customers love the new glass. We stuck with it. That started our rebranding process super early. So I got one of my friends involved. She's a graphic designer. I'm taking care of drafting our character. Red Hazel was always going to be a female character. She was going to have a red hat, and I'll tell you a story about the red hat and how that came about. But she is mirrored after me. So the best way to get that picture, that image, was to bring in someone that knew me. So she started the process, got our character together. That was our first vendor for our new label. Okay. And then we had to identify a new vendor for the label to finish it, because she's not in the industry. She's a graphic designer. She did what she was supposed to do, and she was okay with that. We got a new vendor, graphic designer, that incorporated our character along with the thoughts, feelings, emotions, ideas of what we wanted the new branding to look like. The new label, colors, everything. And they killed it. They killed it. But their pricing wasn't right with printing. So we had to find a new vendor for printing our label. So this was almost a 2-year process. We found a new printer. In addition to that, we found a new distillery.
Oh my goodness.
In addition to that, we tested paper. And when I say testing paper with bottles, with products such as ours, our customers put it in their refrigerator, they put it in buckets of ice, they put it in the freezer, and then the condensation gets on it. We needed to make sure that it didn't do what our previous label did and scratch, peel, break, tear. We wanted to make sure it was quality. So we spent time, a few weeks, testing out the paper. I had a blast doing that because I got to put fire to it. I put it in water. I set it outside in the sun. I set it in a plant box. It was fun for me. It was like a chemistry experiment. But after we did that, we went back and put everything together. and saw how it looked, tested it out, the feel. It was like Ty said, I enjoyed it. I overly enjoyed this process because I got to test out everything. I threw bottles against the wall. Like it was, you got to test it out. Bottles break every day.
Yes.
So yeah, it was a great process. It was a great process.
And also to add to that, so during that time period, we stopped our production, right? So we were running through the current inventory, just trying to sell the current inventory. So we're trying to move those bottles, but also still do the rebrand. So we don't have a ton of revenue coming in during that time period either. So we're putting more money into it, our own money for the rebrand. So luckily during that time period, we also got one of our angel investors came on board, and we got that funding to help us kind of finish that project. So that also happened during that same year and a half, 2 year time span.
Yeah.
I did notice that it was like I couldn't find it. Like after I had bought the older bottles, and I was like, I can't find where they're distributed at anymore. I can't find that. So I thank you for bringing that up, because those are just kind of the walks that a small company, a small business has to run through and find their navigation through that. So
Yeah.
Absolutely. We were out of stock for, what was that, a good 3, 4, 5 months, I think, somewhere around there.
Online, we're out of stock for 6 months.
6 months, yeah, easy.
Store, we're out of stock for about 3 months.
I bet that was
yeah. Oh, it
hurt.
It still hurts. And a challenge with rebranding as a small brand is we don't have the marketing dollars to go in, purchase any old product, because legally we can't just go in and switch bottles off the shelf.
Right.
So we do still have some old bottles on the shelf at different stores. Very minimal. I think we found some of them. And it just becomes a little difficult and time consuming to get those replaced, but it's also a financial impact getting those bottles replaced on the shelf too. I think we've got it down to about 7 or 8 cases now that are still old branded bottles that we need to get off the shelf.
So they're actually on the shelf in stores, or are they in the warehouse, or where are they?
They're on the shelf in stores. And the fun challenge with being in the wine and spirits industry is helping our distributor sales reps understand our target audience. These bottles are in locations our target audience are not.
Oh, okay.
So they're not, they're not moving as quickly. So that's a challenge.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So so that's an interesting problem, and I think maybe I'll probably put my brain to figure out what's the kind of good way to kind of do something like that. So we have another question here.
Thanks, Vercel. Appreciate it. I was wondering why my watch was going off. I appreciate your purchase.
Yeah.
That is
I have a question here.
What steps did you take to make sure you didn't scale too fast? That is a good question. So that's where I came in, to make sure we did this at a pace where we could manage, because it's just us two, right? So TK does a lot of the footwork when it comes to the sampling. Well, did a lot of the footwork when it came to the samplings early on. We've started to hire more people to help out now, but so it was more of trying to make sure we didn't get ahead of our skis, right? So making sure we found that balance of being aggressive, but not to the point where we can't handle the demand. And so that's where I came into play of, okay, we can do, 3 tastings, 4 tastings. I don't want my sister to get burnt out, right? Big brother effect. So I don't want her to run, on 2 hours of sleep, even though she can. I know she can. Okay. But it was really just me kind of putting the brakes on things when I saw it getting a little out of hand on, okay, we've got 6 orders here, inventories at this point of say, 10%. if we get another order, we're going to be back ordered for another 5 or 6 months because we can't get the cash together, right? So me just running those calculations mentally of, all right, we kind of need to pump the brakes a little bit, sis. And she's, shoot, okay, all right, I'll do it. And to her credit, like she listens to me, she takes my advice, and I appreciate that, because it takes a team to have that balance, right? And I think that's what we do well.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
sometimes I don't like it, but it's okay.
yeah, but like typically, I don't know if a lot of businesses have that detail of modeling to actually know how to make decisions like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
key with us not scaling too fast is there are a lot of companies that want to take craft brands national so quickly, and that's the quickest way to fail.
Yes.
That's the quickest way to fail. One thing that has been reiterated to us multiple times over the past few years is kill it in your home market. Kill it in your home market. And that's what we're focused on.
Yeah.
I listen sometimes.
Yeah. But I think that's the based on that idea of doing that financial modeling. We have one of our founders now, that he's trying to come out with the product or service to help small businesses out with that financial modeling. And so, but yeah, that because you need to be able to make decisions, because you could go out of business because you don't make the right decision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Marcel is the money man, so he wants to target revenues for next year.
Yep. So our goal is to double our revenue by the end of 2025. We ran into the hurdle of rebranding over the last year and a half. So a lot of things, as far as revenue generating action, kind of went to a standstill until we ran through that inventory. So now that we have the rebranding completed, we have traction we've already surpassed revenue of last year, which was, I think, a little over 11K, I think it was. So this year we've already surpassed that, and we're looking to double it by end of 2025.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and I think Tony, for asking that question about growing too fast, yeah, because there's a lot of mistakes you can make with that, and so so this is really interesting, because I see, and I hope what's his name is listening in, because I think a lot of, like I said, a lot of businesses don't have that financial modeling capability, and so I think that's a kind of a key thing for founders out there to help them make the right decisions. Yeah, and so Natalie has a question here. How's your experience?
Ooh.
That's going to be a whole different conversation. They've helped us out a lot. Gosh. Yeah, I'll just say they helped us out a lot.
So pronghorn. Oh, go ahead, LJ. What'd you say?
No, I was just saying, what is pronghorn for those of us who are not familiar?
Yeah, so Pronghorn is an angel investment company, or an investment company. They don't just do angel investment, that supports and invests in minority-owned wine and spirits companies. And they've also expanded to non-alc brands. Their goal is to invest in, I believe, 37 brands over the next 10 years, help us grow, help us scale, and then of course, it's about the money. So once we grow, we keep them on as a partner. But they've been phenomenal in the educational aspect, the advising aspect. Their funding really helped us with the rebranding and getting us to the point where we are, especially when it comes to the branding. I had a brand guide, a brand style guide, and they took it to a whole nother level. So that's huge. I actually just did a ride along today with our distributor, and they were with us. So, they work directly with us to see what we're doing, how we can take it to another level and enhance what we have.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Natalie has a question here.
Well, this kind of question kind of goes for both because she's asking for Martha's Vineyard, but Tony also asked if you're coming to Destin on Saturday for the first. So I think that there's elements of where we hear about it, and now people are like, "When are you coming? And where are you going? You on the list? Are you on the calendar?"
So Martha's Vineyard, when we're invited. And Dustin, we will not be there Saturday, unfortunately. However, if you could share the info for that particular bourbon festival, I would love to talk to them about next year.
Okay. And I don't know what, I guess Don wants to. So you ordered the Red Hazel off redhazel.net. Is that where you ordered it at?
Yeah, you order at redhazel.net. Right now, we have a deal going on. If you order 2 bottles or more, you get free shipping. Free shipping is normally a flat rate, so it just makes more sense to order 2 bottles anyways.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then we'll be doing a great amount of things for the holidays too. So just stay tuned. Make sure you sign up for our newsletter on our website as well, because I send out some pretty cool cocktails and updates on our newsletter list first before social media sees it.
Yeah. So, Tony, I'm not sure what this one is. Is that the people putting on the Bourbon Festival? Or
burgers?
What? I'm not sure what that.
Yesterday was National Cheeseburger Day.
Yeah.
Eatsomeburgers.com. That burgers, bourbon, and beer. That sounds like a fantastic time. If the Chiefs weren't playing the Falcons this weekend, I'd probably drive down to Destin.
Yeah, I guess Robert and I may have to drive over to Destin.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, so it sounds really, really neat. Yeah, I think you all have a really, really interesting journey there. Did you say where the name Red Hazel came from?
No, I have not shared that yet. So when I first came up with the idea for the brand, I started writing down in my notebook, which I still have, about like 30 names or so. Red is my favorite color. Hazel's the color of my eyes. That's how it started. Okay. And then when I brought Ty on and we started working together and really realizing, oof, girl, you got some fire. So Red's for that fire, that passion that burns within you. Hazel's for that calm, cool, collected. When you put it together, you got the perfect blend, hence our perfectly blended whiskey.
Mm-hmm. All righty. Fantastic. So
we want the hat.
Yeah. That's
the red hat. You were gonna.
So the red hat. So the red hat was an oopsie, but it made sense. So our very first tasting event that we were having in Atlanta, my hairstylist canceled. I didn't have my hair done. I was natural and I was supposed to be getting my locks done, my faux locks done. And she was like, I can't do it. And I was like, now I look like a chia pet walking around. I can't walk around like this. So I ordered a hat off of Amazon. I was like, well, it's red hazel. We're just going to put this hat on today. And it worked for everyone. Everyone loved it. And it really just became a part of the brand.
Mm-hmm.
It all stemmed from a bad hair day.
Yep. And so every time we go to an event, it's, you see the red hat, Red Hazel's in the building.
Yep. And now I've just really turned it into a marketing piece. So now anytime someone sees a red fedora, oh, is that Red Hazel? And then I have some things in the works. So stay tuned.
Okay. Yeah. So what brands are you all following that to kind of So you don't have to reinvent the wheel on everything you're doing.
Ooh, quite a few.
Yeah, that's good.
So Fawn Weaver from Uncle Nearest, of course, she's at a whole nother level, and it's absolutely amazing. Island John Vodka, they're local to Atlanta.
Okay.
Mara from Inspiro Tequila as well, and Nyana from Until Tequila. There's so many.
Yeah.
Tiffany from
Greenwood.
Tea Capri, Greenwood Whiskey. There's so many, and we've built this community where we learn from each other too. But a lot of them have been in it longer than us, and they
Yes.
teach us a lot. Teach us a lot.
Yes. Yes. And so we're talking about Sorrel before we came on the air. So that so we have sampled that before. It's delicious, yeah. And
Yeah.
but yeah, you all definitely have a unique flavor. Everybody that we've had over to the house, since you're all out, when they try it, they love it. So that's pretty fantastic. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Also, can't wait for you to get the new label because we did change the taste just a little bit. We added more rye whiskey into it. We took
Now you got my.
we changed the type of sugar that we use because we do use a little bit of sugar in our blend, but we allow the 75% of corn to take its natural process in chemistry to add in the sugars. But when we do add sugar, it's brown sugar instead of white sugar.
Gotcha.
So it definitely changed to more of a whiskey forward flavored whiskey. It has a little smokiness to it now as well, and you really get like the nutmeg, vanilla, allspice tasting on your palate when you try it. So, yeah.
That's pretty great. And so I guess as we kind of close out here, so do you all have any lessons learned you want to share? Final thoughts about your journey.
Ty, you want to go first? So many lessons learned.
Yeah, there's a lot. Trust your instincts. Usually your first instinct is the one to go with. The other one that I learned is don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone.
Yes.
For me, I didn't know anything about whiskey outside. I like to drink it before starting this, right? So learning the 3-tier system, learning the different regulations within each state, learning tax law, sales tax and use, like that, those kind of things are intimidating. So, getting over that hurdle was a tough one for me, but it forced me outside of my comfort zone. And I'm glad I did it because I've learned a lot, and it's something that I can speak, intelligently about now, but also I can also help coach other people on how to maneuver, right? So if you step outside of your comfort zone, you can reach back and help somebody else learn some things.
Fantastic.
Wow. I got to follow up on that. Okay. For me, again, there's a lot of lessons learned, but speaking to other entrepreneurs, all money isn't good money, and all partnerships aren't meant for you. That's a huge thing to understand in our industry, because there's always someone asking for something, but it's not a mutual beneficial partnership. And that's what we look for. And allow things to happen organically sometimes. Good partnerships aren't forced. They're organic.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention this, but I saw you LinkedIn down in Tampa. You were going through some program. Could you tell us about that? Because it's always good to learn about the programs people participate in.
Yeah, so I entered my first pitch competition, in-person pitch competition, let's say that formally. and it's for Thai women's competition. And they selected 10 women founders out of, I think it was like 40 or so, to come pitch in person in Tampa,
Okay.
which the winner got an opportunity to go to Bangalore, India, to the global pitch competition
Wow.
and win a grant. It was an amazing experience. They partnered us with a mentor that helped us through our pitch. And I learned so much during that process because I got to see other founders in person pitch
Yeah.
versus watching it online. You know, I watched Shark Tank. Shark Tank, you know, it was great. I watch, you know, I think it's called Elevator Pitch. And I love those shows, but
Yeah.
it's very different getting up there yourself and having technical difficulties or blanking on your pitch or you know, the key there is knowing, and Ty told me before I went on stage, is like, nobody knows what you're going to say,
Right.
just do it. So it was a great experience. I did tailor, I changed our pitch a bit after that experience. The least amount of wording on a slide is important because nobody's reading the whole slide. They want to know the numbers, they want to know your strategy, and they want to know who's on your team.
Yeah. Well, the good news is that you can literally fund a lot of the stuff you're doing through these pitch competitions. And the one of the first pitch competition I was in, it was only like $3,000. The second one I was in was $200,000.
See,
this 10 years ago. You see what I'm saying? So, but yeah, but they since Black Ambition, you know, they've awarded up to $1 million for one founder. But yeah, I've even taught a $2 million pitch company. But there's so many programs you can actually use to leverage to fund your whole journey till you reach that product market fit. And so that's kind of what the message. So when you learn how to pitch correctly, and and so that's kind of I did want to say that. And I kind of wanted to close up. You mentioned that you were going to enroll in the business model design class, and it definitely will be worth it because the class is free. But Ash Maury, he was the one that created the Lean Canvas thing, and so he created this platform, you know, and he's been working with universities, accelerator programs all over the world, you know, for way over 10 years. So he's accumulated a lot of knowledge, and so you'll definitely get some value out of it. And a lot of people don't, you know, because it'll help you grow your business smartly. And so that's kind of what the deal is there. So I think you're definitely on your way, and we're definitely going to help you make sure that business model is good, and so you can plan your sales growth, and Ty can put his financial modeling in there and make sure you're making the right decisions. And
look, if there's any AI, you know, things I can just put those numbers in and just spit it out for me, that'd be great. You know, instead of working on spreadsheets.
Oh yeah. But see, like once you kind of understand how AI works and stuff like that, yeah, it can actually model what you have in the spreadsheet. So yeah, but the bottom line is, you know, it's a journey. You just have to kind of get the right connection to keep moving forward. Yeah, and we definitely look forward to working with you all to kind of help you keep going forward and get connected to some opportunities. We've been maintaining the opportunity database for the past, you know, couple of years, and so that's what it's all about, is trying to get you to that product market fit. And it sounds like y'all got the traction, and so now it's just trying to get things worked out so you can start scaling a little bit. And it would be nice if you could, you know, scale based on your your customers, sales to your customers, and also leveraging the ecosystem to kind of help you fund all the things you need to fund to kind of get to that point.
Yeah.
All right. We
Yeah.
sure appreciate y'all joining us tonight. It's definitely been great, and there definitely has been a lot of little nuggets here that people can actually use. Did you have any comments, LJ?
Well, I just want to say it's great to see family doing what they're doing. So keep going, and I'm supporting you all along the way. Can't wait to taste this new flavor. I'm ready to get the holiday season started. So, and I just also want to say we have the Florida Black Founder Program, fourth cohort starting on next week. So if people haven't signed up, they need to get signed up. Make sure that they are a part of that. But I got to say this: I love you, fam. Thank you for all the support, and I'm just supporting you all. I'll see y'all after the show. But that's all right.
Love you guys.
Love you too. Love you too. Thank y'all for having us. We really appreciate it. Just some plugs. You can find us at www.redhazel.net. On social media, it's Red Hazel Whiskey. And right now we're available in Georgia and Florida. We're available on special order in North Carolina, and we ship to 47 states. That includes Florida. So head to the website. Let's get those orders in.
All righty, fantastic. So if y'all hold on a second, we'll see everybody else next week there. Let's see if this one last comment here. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Stacy. Thanks for coming.